Hello, and welcome to the Dead Duck Film Club podcast. I'm here with Mark.
Hello, how you doing?
And we're talking about Akira today. Akira.
Beautiful film.
Beautiful film. But before we get to that, I'll start straight out at the gate. Have you seen anything recently that you want to talk about?
Have I seen anything I want to talk about? I've seen a couple of things I don't want to talk about.
Ooh.
You know, I was taught, if you don't have anything nice to say, so I won't say anything about Chicken Run 2, having finally caught up with that with my daughter.
Have you seen Chicken Run 2? That's
I have
the one?
seen Chicken Run 2.
I didn't know they made a second one.
They did make a second one. Don't do it to yourself.
Is it close to the, was it released closely to the first one?
No, it was like 2 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a Netflix thing.
Oh.
You can tell because they keep explaining the plot. You're making me talk about Chicken Run 2.
Well, what didn't you like about it?
Oh, God. What am I doing? Chicken Run 2. So it's doing all the worst things of, like... The things that come to mind to me are Toy Story 4 and Vengeance Most Foul, the Wallace and Gromit one. Where in Vengeance Most Foul, it is... To me, it seems like a complete misunderstanding of what made the original charming, both in the Wallace Gromit and Chicken Run sense, in terms of the technology. Like if you think about The Wrong Trousers, it's all like this janky tech, and Wallace is just this like kooky guy, and it's all like arms on hands being sort of shot out of stuff. And then in Vengeance Most Foul, it's like, oh, he's invented like multiple gnomes that are capable of like autonomously running the gardening.
Right.
He can build a submarine. Like it's all like it's not like little and British and janky and quirky and it's the same with Chicken Run, where like they build up to in Chicken Run being able to build that amazing plane where it's all just like them pedaling on a bike.
Yeah.
And do you remember? Like, how fantastic that is?
Yeah.
And it's the whole film is building to such a janky bit of tech that they've cobbled together from the huts.
To get over the fence.
Chicken Run 2, right from the off, they have
a nuclear bomb.
They're using cameras, they're using computers.
Okay.
They're using they have this plane that's shaped like a cloud or disguised as a cloud that's run by a motor, like a hot air balloon with motors. They don't even mention where they got it from. They're just like, oh, the chickens have got it. And then the Toy Story 4 stuff is, did you see Toy Story 4?
I think I might have. I'm not too sure. Is it the one with the spoon?
Yes, it is the one with the spoon.
Or fork?
Yeah, with the spork. The spork
The
thing.
spork,
yeah. So like in that one where they're all just like, they're running around constantly in broad daylight, no one's worried about being seen by the humans.
Right.
It's the same thing in Chicken Run 2, where they're constantly like beating up humans. There's no like worry about the effort for this at all.
Where in Chicken Run 1, it's slightly believable.
Threat. It's just constant threat. Like that opening montage in Chicken Run. I'm not sure how recently you've seen Chicken Run. I've seen it many times.
Dude, I think it traumatized me. Doesn't the chicken's head get like cut off or something along those lines? Yeah, that's rough,
they decapitate a chicken. And like the whole of the opening montage is them trying to get out and getting bested by the stupidest of the humans every single time. Just immediately, Mr. Tweedy's just like, got you, throw you in solitary. Got you, throw you in solitary. It's brutal.
Oof.
It's brutal. And it sets up that antagonism, makes it impactful. None of that.
Okay.
None of that. It's just fine. They're just running around, just like all the humans are idiots and being tricked constantly.
Oh, that sucks.
And then there's none of the focus of the first Chicken Run. None of the, like the whole of that first Chicken Run film is just openly concentration camp World War II film. Just nakedly, they're just being like, that's what eating chickens is. It's such an ambitious thing to do in a film for children. And then this one is just like so muddled. It's like a little bit of Mission Impossible, a little bit of like Armageddon or James Bond.
Right. I think I watched Chicken Run, and then someone showed me like the boy in the blue striped pajamas, and I was like, "What's going on?"
You know,
like my brain. Yeah, my brain was, well, slightly. But yeah, sure. Okay, is that your?
I didn't want to, but yes.
Anything else? Anything else you watched?
Definitely, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay, cool. For me, I watched The Pit Season 2. I finished that.
I have heard so many good things about The Pit.
It's so good. So it's a medical drama, like they used to make, but this one is like hyper realist, I guess I'd say. It's competency porn, basically. And season 1 was a shock to the system. It was so good. And season 2 follows on that trend. I'd say by 5% less good as the first one, but it's still fantastic and phenomenal. And if you like competency porn, it's good.
So I know a number of doctors who are infamously terrible at watching anything medical.
Because they'll just say, you can't do that.
Well, that's not right.
Don't do that.
Do this. You wouldn't give them that drug. What are you talking about? And apparently those guys love The Pit.
Well, there you go. And it's 24 hour. Well, it's every episode is an hour in an A&E department. So it starts when they start their shift, and then every hour, every episode, you keep going until the end of their shift, and it's 15 hours. and there's always like one big event during the day, basically, and it's how they deal with that, and that's why it's not an 8-hour shift. I don't know if 8-hour shifts are still a thing for doctors, but there you go. Yeah, so it's also very pro medical stuff. Like there is a bit of it does have a problem with the fact that like every time it tries to teach you something, it kind of really forces that on you. So it's like, oh, Dr. Whitaker, you didn't listen to what this woman was saying. Did you know that 50% of women didn't feel like they were listening? And they're like, oh, right a minute, just wait a minute.
That's an
here.
issue that needs to be addressed, like along so many different lines, gender, race. There's so many.
Yeah, fair enough. But it does. It tries to tackle everything, and I do think it manages to do it. And it's also current with time. So season 2, there is like something about ICE, basically, like the police. Those guys, they're not even police. Whatever they are, they appear in a few episodes, and how it kind of messes with like the administration and stuff like that. Also AI and like the problems that it's actually doing. Like there's a scene where this doctor is really pro AI, and it's like we could save so much time by like dictating to AI, and then further down on it causes an issue, right? Like 6 hours later, some big thing happens because someone dictated it wrong, and AI kind of understood it. So yeah, it's good. It's really good, and I try not to watch too many series just because I prefer movies. And this one kept me going.
That is one that I'll catch up with eventually.
You should, especially with Helen, obviously your wife, who's a doctor.
She is indeed, yeah.
I'd be very curious to hear what she thinks about it.
Yeah, because she is, simultaneously, she is one of those doctors who finds it really difficult to watch medical dramas for that reason, for all of the realistic logistics of it, but also has watched every episode of Grey's Anatomy. And I don't know how those two things correlate. I'm not sure how she's managed to achieve
My wife still watches Grey's Anatomy.
People love Grey's Anatomy.
She says it. I know it's terrible, but it's like my comfort thing. We're on season 17. Like, you know what I mean?
You know what? We have to respect that, because there's plenty of things that we watch that are absolutely terrible, and we know it, and we just go, do you know what? From time to time, you just want to watch the MCU. It just happens. You want to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
All right, so we're talking about Akira. It's a 1988 animation, and I think it's safe to say it rocked the world of animation across the world. So I don't know how much you know about the backstory of this work, Akira.
Well, let's take one step back from there, because it's probably worth saying that I don't know much about the backstory, as it were, or the history of anime in general. There is probably, more than any other genre, the biggest gulf between like general understanding of anime and my understanding of anime. Okay. That's where the biggest... I think I'm relatively up to date on a lot of film stuff, but I would estimate that I've seen maybe 6 anime films in total.
Oof.
Probably. I've seen a couple of Studio Ghibli, I've seen Ghost in the Shell, and I've seen Your Name. But I was so out of the loop on anime that when I saw Your Name and I enjoyed it, I thought I should speak to some of my anime friends and say, hey, I've seen it, because it's not
my
Ghibli.
Anime friends.
Yeah, my friends would love this stuff. And be like, hey, I've seen this cool thing. Have you guys heard of Your Name?
Yeah.
And they went, the most financially successful anime of all time. Yes, I've heard of Your Name.
What about a series, though? Because it's obviously, that's also super popular. Have you seen any anime series?
Oof.
You know, the One Piece, the Naruto, the Jujutsu Kaisen.
You know, Full Metal Alchemist, all that stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, Attack on Titan, not seen any of it.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I'm just out of the loop. This is the genre that I'm least informed on.
To be fair, the anime has like 20-minute episodes, and there's like 56 of them per season, so it can be daunting.
Right, and it's all coming from manga that is comfortably, or it seems, again, with my ignorance, it seems to be coming from manga that is comfortably dense and...
Super dense.
Yeah.
Even One Piece is still going in there on like manga, 300, I don't know, but it just keeps going.
Which is why...
The book comes out.
I prepared something for this episode. Correct way up. I know nothing about Akira.
Okay.
I have seen the poster.
Yep.
And I'm aware that there's a motorbike in it.
Yeah, there is a motorbike in it.
As a result, I have prepared for you and our viewing audience what I assumed Akira would be about, based on my just general understanding of the premise.
Okay, what did you think Akira was about after watching looking at the poster?
Please enjoy my plot of Akira before that I watched the film. I'm assuming that this is dystopian far future Tokyo, and my definition of far future was 2250.
Yeah.
As I have approached it.
Okay, not bad.
Akira is the name of our protagonist.
Yeah.
And he is a prodigious motorcycle racer.
Okay.
Has done a lot of high-stakes racing, but he's fallen off. He used to be a high-stakes racer. He's fallen off because his dad was a famous biker who died on the bike, is what happened. during this. So we're going to go through various social tragedies caused by techno-capitalist future. I'm assuming this to be a extremely competent dystopia in which techno-capitalist forces are completely controlling Tokyo. And I've said he probably works in a mine and racks up unreasonable debt with criminal cartels. This is where I'm assuming that we're going with this. So Akira then discovers an underground, illegal motorbike race. I wasn't certain if Akira would be the name of our protagonist or the
So
name
he
of the
fell off
race.
at this point and he finds an underground race, right?
Well, he needs the money. That's the thing.
Right.
So he finds out about the race. He doesn't want to engage, but there's a big prize. I've written that this race is going to be wacky races meets death race. That sort of approach. Everybody has like kitted out motorbikes with crazy guns.
In the mines or like outside the mines?
Well, no, this is outside
the mines. Okay.
But he's like, his day job is the mines, but he has to moonlight in his illegal motorbike racing. He is coerced into racing by the criminal villain, who he owes a lot of money to,
right,
with the idea that all that money is going to go to the villain, but that will pay off his debts.
Yeah.
And the top racer in these races is some rich dickhead. So we have twin villains here. We have the criminal villain and we have the techno-capitalist rich dickhead.
Yeah.
He must win the race, beat the antagonists, both high and low society, keep the money, and probably get laid.
Right.
That is my plot to Akira. I have plot twists that I thought would occur, which are the death race would include transformer bikes of some kind.
Nice.
They would turn into some crazy-ass transformer bikes.
Right.
Rich dickhead actually killed Akira's dad.
Whoa!
I know, it's crazy. That's what you learn in the second act. And you will have a face turn for the criminal, self-sacrificing to stick it to the man. Moody outlaw ending, riding off into the sunset, etc.
That's amazing. Directed by James Cameron.
Absolutely. So
Wow.
that is my understanding of
Wow,
of
well
anime.
done.
Thank
That
you
was
very
really,
much.
it's so close
That
to
is
what it actually is.
really close. You know, occasionally, as I was watching the film, I was like, far future, 2019. Oh, no, I was miles off.
Did you know that this was extremely popular?
I knew that it was very, very popular.
So you
I'm
were
aware
like,
of the-
this is the most popular thing in the world and this is what I think it's about.
That's what I thought. That's what I kind of understand anime to be.
Right, okay. So a bit, a bit on the nose. With
A little bit tropey.
Yeah,
but
tropey,
also
thank you.
very pulp and like high state. I'm picturing some pretty crazy motorbike races. It's worth pointing out the motorbike stuff is so minor that it's kind of crazy that all the visuals that I'm aware of include the motorbike.
Yeah, but the visual is like so striking.
The infamous slide.
The infamous slide
yeah.
of Akira. So let's talk about what Akira is actually about.
It's not about that?
No, I'm so sorry. I'll try and explain it in my own terms. So the movie opens with we're in 1988 actually. The day of the release of the movie is the day the movie opens with, and then you have this massive explosion, which doesn't look nuclear. It is massive though. It's massive, and it also is infamous for like the look and feel of it. Like people have gotten that tattooed on their backs. Like it's very, very popular. And then massive explosion, and then we jump 30 years to 2019, the far future of 2019.
Far future.
And in 2019, it's dystopian. It makes me think of Blade Runner, obviously. I think Blade Runner has a lot to call back to Akira, I think, for...
Visually. We'll get
visually. And we're following...
competency. I mean the competency of the government, not the competency of the government.
Okay, thank you. We follow... Akira? No, not Akira. Canada. Is it Canada? Canada. With an A?
Kaneda, I believe.
Okay, Canada. Yeah, there you go. Canada and Tetsuo, right? And they're in a motorcycle gang, and I think Canada is the leader. But he's not very charismatic. I found him to be a bit of a dickish kind of skirt. Running after skirts, kind of.
Do you know, there's an element of Canada that was reminding me, it was giving me Big Trouble in Little China vibes.
Wow.
Of being
Kurt
Russell, not because of the character,
okay,
but because comparably to Kurt Russell's character in Big Trouble in Little China, the story's not about them. They just so happen to be here.
It's a good point, yes.
And it's like not that it's not they didn't.
It's not about Canada.
No.
Canada, which you think it might be at the beginning, but it actually quickly turns out no. At the beginning, I was like, "Who's our protagonist?" And then turns out it is about Canada, but it's also about Tetsuo. And Tetsuo is this kid who also grew up with Canada in this a home for children, basically.
Yep.
And they're good friends. And Kaneda is a bit of the big brother, and he keeps saving Tetsuo, and Tetsuo hates that. But they live in like the worst of the worst. Like school's horrible. People are taking drugs and smoking crack. And
Just like right now.
Just like right now. The streets are disgusting, filled with graffiti and dangerous.
I don't know how many times I can do the just like that, so I'm going to stop.
And they're in this motorcycle gang, and so this is where the motorbike comes from, right? Kaneda has a really fancy red motorbike, and Tetsuo is like, "Let me ride it," and Kaneda's like, "You can't handle my bike, man," which actually proves to be true at the end, or in the middle of the movie.
Oh yeah.
And then they're fighting the clowns. Clowns is another gang of a biker gang. And at this point, you're like, this is okay. We're talking about bikes. I don't know what that explosion was at the beginning, but we're talking about a biker gang here. Okay, cool. And I
must say, at this point, I thought that I was pretty on the money. With my guessing. When we had like a really kooky gang, I was like, absolutely, totally, we're going in the right direction. We're going for the wacky races meets death race scenario.
But it starts really strong, as in there's no time to breathe, really.
No.
We go. There's a slight bar scene, and then we definitely go into the big fight with the clowns. And Tetsuo crashes. Tetsuo crashes because he sees a little kid with wrinkles who's running away from the government. Remember that scene?
A little Solomon Grundy.
Yep. Solomon Grundy?
Oh, he's a Batman villain.
Okay.
We'll cut this out.
And he's got these he's a little guy. And at this point, I was like, is this a really old person in a baby's body, or is this like a child with wrinkles?
With incredible wisdom.
With incredible wisdom.
Child with incredible wisdom, again, feels like anime trope to me, so I was...
Absolutely. So he crashes, and, there you have it. Something wrong's going on. The whole gang catches up to Tetsuo. Tetsuo's on the ground like, oh my god, I'm not okay. The kid survives. I'm going to call him the kid, but then government comes, and the government says, all right, you're out of here. This little kid's been running away, and also we're going to grab Tetsuo. I don't know why they pick him up at that point, but they're like, you were in contact with a child.
Doesn't he have the first of his many seizures during that scene?
He's kind of writhing on the ground, yeah.
I think that might be where the government picks him up.
Right, and then the movie splits into two.
Yes.
You have Tetsuo in a child laboratory, basically, and then you have Kaneda trying to figure out what's going on with Tetsuo.
With the revolutionaries.
And the revolutionaries are okay. And there you go.
Kaneda and the revolutionaries.
That's kind of that's kind of what happens at the beginning of Akira.
And what should be pointed out very early on, because it's not a spoiler to say,
right,
is that psychic powers and superheroes are a thing that exists in this world, which is where the Tetsuo story is going. And that's where it really diverged from my understanding of what Akira was going to be, because I wasn't aware of that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there is a bit of a it made me think of, was it Brightburn, which was the bad Superman movie?
That's interesting, because it made me think of Chronicle.
Oh, yeah?
A similar vibe of, like, what if superheroes existed with teenagers these days type thing. So, yeah, similar to Brightburn.
Similar. But we should talk about the director real quick, Katsuhiro Otomo. So you might not know anything about this guy. Really interesting. So he's an anime artist, first and foremost. He made all these he's made all these mangas, I should say. He did the whole story, did the whole drawing and stuff like that. In beginning of the 80s, he starts Akira. But he's always wanted to be a film director. And we're going to jump a bit here to 88, where he gets to make Akira for the biggest budget of all time at that time for any animation. There were so many frames to be drawn, I think over 160,000 frames hand-drawn for this movie, that they needed multiple production companies. Usually it was one for the movie. All of them. Pew! So he had like 7 or 8 production companies working on this. And get this, Akira, the manga, is 8 tomes, 200 pages, 2,000 pages, sorry, and the script for this is 700 pages. But the mangas weren't finished when they made the movies.
Just gonna wind that back. Did you see the script for this movie is 700 pages?
Yeah.
That is unnecessary.
It's probably, when I say the script, I probably mean the board.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, okay. Well, I guess those.
Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. Yeah. Okay. Fair play.
So the script is probably 90, 90 or 100 pages. So the story wasn't finished when they filmed it, when they made the whole thing. So he finished it afterwards, based on the ending. And it's really interesting because Akira, which the only negatives I can find about this movie really are it can feel a bit convoluted, lots of characters, lots going on at any given time.
I'm gonna bring you some more negatives. It's because
We're actually talking about a tome that's like 2,000 pages. Well, all the books are 2,000 pages. And the movie is a kind of a Frankenstein version of the beginning of the manga, and then cut the middle out, and then the ending of the manga. The 8
So
tomes.
there is a large quantity of plot missing in the middle of this, I'm assuming, around the birth of Tetsuo's powers and what he does with those powers.
I haven't read it, so I can't tell you. But I can tell you that the leader of the cult, which is this old, wise, old lady, you can see her with the flames.
Very, very briefly, yeah.
Very briefly, she has like a whole story arc. And she's actually one of the kids. She used to be experimented on.
Right. Now that kind of makes sense, coming as someone who's a complete outsider to these ideas, because that felt extremely underbaked in a way that felt as comical to me as what I don't like about Dune 2, where it feels very underbaked, the cult elements of those things. They both felt quite Life of Brian to me. The moments where Tetsuo is being mistaken for Lord Akira, and they're all just immediately...
Jesus, basically.
Totally, they're just treating him like Jesus. And then there's just like crowds in the street with a willful blind eye to the destruction that he's causing, calling him Jesus. Calling him Lord Akira. To me, that felt very underbaked, and I wanted more detail in that kind of thing to make it not feel like a joke.
Right.
And I guess that missing actually makes sense, and that might be something that I would get more out of by spending time with the manga.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, if you wanted to spend more time in there, but we got to talk about the motorbike slide. Also, the motorbike slide is iconic.
It is, and it's so minor as an element to the film. I find those kinds of beats in a film fascinating. We've spoken before about No Other Choice.
Sure.
Where the element that was in the posters was him with the flower pot over his head.
Yeah.
And that's such a minor element in the film. It's such a fleeting moment. But for that to have become the defining visual of the film is fascinating to me, that you can sort of... It's telling a story in and of itself, and the slide is kind of similar.
Because there is another version of this poster that could exist, which is Tetsuo. Because Tetsuo is kind of one of our main characters. The massive forehead, by the way. I've never seen a bigger forehead in my life, except mine maybe. But like that kind of took me out a bit. But yeah, so let's see what else we got to talk about. Well, there's a few things. Did you the Olympic stuff? Did you catch that? Like, there's a lot of I don't know what that is about. But
I can tell you what it made me think of, but that's going to feed into my wider problems with the film.
Shall we get to that?
We can if you would like to. I don't know if we want to detour, because I don't want to detour.
Let's do the Rotten Tomatoes game real quick.
Let's do that.
Where's my phone? Because I need one. Let me open it up. Right here, Rotten Tomatoes. I'm so nervous about you shitting on this movie.
I'm not going to shit on it. I'm not going to shit on it. I have things to say, more than shit to give.
Okay, while this loads, can you tell us, what did you think of Akira? You watched this like 2 hours ago. I
watched this very, very recently, and so it's very fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those films where the stuff that will stick with me is the really immediate stuff, and the immediate stuff is really strong. Striking visuals, the sort of pulp action. There's a huge amount to enjoy in Akira, and I understand why people enjoy it. But I would say that I would describe this film as a calcifying film for me personally. This film is both giving me, this is reinforcing the beliefs of what I understand anime to be strong in, and reinforcing my understanding of what I don't like about anime that I've seen previously.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's solidifying me into my position.
Tell me more.
The stuff that I am talking about specifically with my concerns with it is that this does one of my least favorite types of storyline, certainly in speculative fiction, but potentially in all fiction, of treating a fascist authoritarian government as being framed around an understandable fear and a legitimate threat that they are standing in the face of. It's almost a utilitarian mindset on fascism to say, well, this authoritarian government that exists exists because it's stopping the destruction of all of Tokyo. And so it's kind of the right thing to do, actually, to let them be fascist.
But they are also the reason for the destruction of Tokyo in the first place, because we find out that Akira is one of the kids that was experimented on.
That is true.
By the government.
And there's an element in there of saying that fascists have a habit of eating themselves, which is accurate. But what actually happens in reality, rather than there being legitimate crises that are caused by the fascists sort of causing it and then them reacting to it, is that it's considerably more arbitrary than that. The fascists that exist in the present day they have targets for their outrage, and their targets of their outrage are wholly arbitrary. It's made up, and they are not a threat to you. They're not a threat to me. The targets of the present day are immigrants and trans people.
Sure.
The targets of yesterday were Muslims and gay people. The targets before them were Jews and feminists. Who's to say what the targets of tomorrow are? They're Australians and blondes and people under 5'6". It's made up. It does not exist.
Okay.
And to say that a fascist state exists to stop the destruction of a city, to me, is fascist propaganda. That's not what the fascist state exists to do. The fascist state exists to demonize a random
But what makes
demographic.
these guys fascists?
The fact that there's a military coup in the middle of this film,
Yeah.
which is framed as kind of an understandable response to the situation.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the chap.
Because the whole government is seen as like incompetent,
Yep.
eating itself also fat and just like unable to get anything done because there's too many people in a room.
There's that fantastic scene with the executive council where
One's sleeping.
the military guy's trying to explain what the threat is, and they're all just yelling at each other.
That's
and they're
interesting.
completely useless. And so that stuff I was kind of finding, that I can picture this being being somewhat understandable. But when you then move from that to, okay, what's required here and what is potentially the right thing to do here is a military crackdown on the entire city to stop Tetsuo.
But yet the military is also seen as quite negative through the whole movie. Like especially at the beginning when we find out that there's rebellion, right? There are these rebels, and we also see a lot of police violence. And in the beginning with the whole people meeting in the middle of the street, and then the shooting on people and the gas and stuff like that.
I mentioned incompetence earlier, and that is something that the film touches on. That this isn't a fully developed authoritarian state. This is a somewhat shaky authoritarian state.
Well, it feels like the whole world's crumbling down.
Yeah.
Like nothing's working.
No, but the story that's been written is one of demonizing a minority group and then having a government response against them. And even if the government response is framed in two lights, that two lights is also inaccurate. To say that there's, both sides have reasonable points here, no, they absolutely don't. In the real world,
Right.
you have to take a Thermian argument of sort of treating the text as immutable to see that as accurate.
Okay.
And that's what I find to be a struggle in the film. This is the kind of plot that I would compare against something like X-Men, which famously does this extremely well, of framing that there are sort of different forces in the minority group of like a Malcolm X versus an MLK kind of figure within that, and sort of the fight against it. But regardless of where you stand on that conflict, it's the oppressive forces standing against them of the government crackdown against a minoritized group who are there to be overthrown. They're the problem.
Did you see the red bike though? It's pretty good. I don't know what you're talking about, but there's a really cool red bike on it. So
You know what? It slid and it was awesome. And so this is where I come down on anime.
Okay.
I don't understand what this is. And this is what I felt about Ghost in the Shell as well. Because
Okay.
that had like high-minded philosophy and questions about the impact of technology.
Sure.
Right alongside a storytelling and visual focus that I find to be at least slightly, I don't want to use the word juvenile because that feels too harsh, but like, fuck it, let's say juvenile. Like, it's aiming at like, look at this naked lady kicking ass, while also going, let's talk about philosophy and the natures of humanity interacting with technology. What is this? Is this supposed to be a film, talking about Akira then, is this supposed to be a film about the nature of an authoritarian state? Or is this a film about orbital lasers shooting supervillains' arms off? Because I can have either one.
that was cool.
It was awesome, but I need to know what this is. I need to know if this is Saturday morning cartoons or if this is, or if I'm supposed to take this seriously.
Right, and anime kind of meets you in the middle. And
It hits me in the middle, and I
yeah.
can't do both at the same time.
Right,
Maybe that's a
okay.
fault on my end.
Okay. Cool. Any pros?
So many, but they're in different camps.
Right,
and that's the
right,
problem.
right,
Like,
right.
Yeah,
like
like-
you liked all the Saturday morning cartoon stuff.
I did.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
The supervillain fights with Tetsuo are fantastic. And I can't square these ideas. I find a dissonance in trying to push them into the same product. And then I'll hear people telling me that I need to watch more anime because of how mature it is. And I'm yet to see that.
I don't think I could like counter argument that either. A mature anime kind of. That's why also I grate against anime sometimes. Not for those reasons because I'm not that smart, but more for like the gratuitous nudity, just I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't get it. Like,
The
I
gratuitous-
feel a bit creepy looking at some stuff. Sometimes some friends will send me this anime, and it's like, here's this 9-year-old walking around in a tutu dress, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, it's so cool though. There's a sniper rifle. And I know, like I don't.
I struggle with that, and
Yeah.
that's what Ghost in the Shell hit me really hard with that. Where, like,
Right,
there's
right.
absolutely no reason for this character to be nude half the time. I don't understand what's happening unless it's trying to that's part of the marketing towards a demographic.
Yeah.
This is such an unpopular opinion, and people are not going to enjoy this stance. But my anti-anime
Social media is
stance,
gonna fucking love
this
it.
is not.
No, it's great. Did you know? Do you know what? Do you know the correlation between Kanye West and this movie?
I'm so old. Sometimes I feel 60. No, I do not know the correlation between Kanye West and this movie.
So do you know this the song "Stronger" by Kanye West with Daft Punk?
Getting stronger, yeah. Of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
Okay. So his whole music video is this movie. He redoes the whole movie. The people who made the film, the music video, remade some of the most popular scenes of Akira with Kanye West.
Is it anime?
No.
Ooh.
If I remember correctly, it's might be anime, but he's not. I have to look it up.
Hmm.
There you
Okay,
go.
so it's anime with Kanye West sort of moved into it.
Yeah.
Like one of those like Hollywood intros where Billy Crystal rocks up in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and he's kind of cut it. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
bad.
yeah, he's just moving
Yeah.
through it.
So yeah, and there's also a lot of other facts that I thought were interesting. Akira. So this is from IMDb. Akira was the first anime where the voices were recorded before the animation was made, and this was at the director's choice basically because he wanted lip syncing. And they didn't do it that way. So basically before, you would have it on screen and then they would say the words, but the animators would kind of have to guess what the audio would be like.
What the performance was going to be.
Yeah, they did it the other way around here, which I don't know, and probably some pros and cons on that one, but they recorded the audio before, and so the animators were able to keyframe that much better, which is, I think, important.
One of the things that makes the film work so well is that the performances feel very...
Did you watch the dub version, though?
No.
No,
I watched the subbed version.
Yeah, there's also a big like divide, I think, in that community of like which one should you watch. And I think the idea here is like you watch it once and that way, and then you watch it again in the other way. That's also an open to what you prefer.
Yeah.
You know, this just re-released in IMAX, and I've been to IMAX recently to go see Project Hail Mary, and I remember sitting there, and my eyes kind of like, you know, I'm kind of looking. So if my subtitles were the size of a bus, I think it'd be really hard to kind of take in all the details. But anyway, in IMAX, you need to be in the last 2 rows, in my opinion, to enjoy anything. But yeah, anyway, yeah, really solid.
So did you see this? You didn't see it in IMAX?
No, I saw it. I saw the 4K version. So this re-release actually is just an IMAX re-release. So unless you're seeing it in IMAX, you could already watch the 4K at home. Although it's a lot better in the cinema. But this re-release in 2026 is the IMAX re-release basically, where they've done that. But I watched the 4K version at home. So there you go. Did you also see any stuff that you saw in the stuff that we do now? Like, did you recognize any moments in Akira that has been redone now, like the bike slide, for example?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen Nope?
I have seen Nope. Oh, is there something? Hang on, that's a good question. Just give me a second. What are you thinking of from Nope that exists in Akira?
So in Nope, one of the characters does a bike slide.
Do they really?
And
of course they. Yeah.
And it's that, and the director obviously was like, yeah, I had to do it. Big fan. Akira has such an imprint on Japan also that at the recent Olympics, they cut like the whole opening ceremony with scenes from Akira.
That's interesting because you mentioned the Olympics earlier.
Yeah.
The Olympics was a moment that gave me pause to repeatedly see. And again, I don't know if this is me being incapable of sort of removing politics from my enjoyment of a film.
Yeah.
Where if I think about an authoritarian or dictatorial state, and then I think about the Olympics back to back, there's one very clear idea that's going to come to mind in the 30s, but there's also multiple in the most recent future, one coming up next in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
One a decade ago in Russia. So there's like when I think about a sort of like a big poppy sporting event, it'll start to pull into what Saudi Arabia is doing currently with a lot of whitewashing,
Sure.
sports washing, and the World Cup is currently speedrunning Indefensible Places to Be Held, seemingly, just going one after the other. And so seeing that as this like Reichstag fire event of what happened during the Olympics
Yeah, sure.
is then completely undercutting my understanding of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to say about this.
Right.
It's difficult.
Based on what you were saying earlier.
But I don't know if that sort of thing is deliberate. Certainly, obviously, the most recent versions of all of what I just said definitely aren't deliberate for something that was made in the 80s.
No, probably not.
You would imagine that they didn't have quite that foresight.
No.
As to what was going to be.
They weren't like, this is propaganda or anything. I think they were like, it's a big part of what we do here. And did you know how big the impact was in the US? Akira is the reason why we have an anime in the US.
Is it really?
Yeah, and we don't live in the US, but it's why there's anime in the West, because for the release of Akira, so they released this in the US in Christmas Day 1989 in cinemas, and there was no distribution for anime back then, so they created anime companies, basically anime distribution company for Akira, so they could distribute it because it was such a success in Japan, and it did okay. It did like 1 million, but then it did 80 million at the VHS rentals.
Really?
Massive thing here in terms of like swapping VHS and stuff like that. It was like, that's why I think it's a bit of a cult hit. A lot of people who grew up in the 80s or 90s actually would have grown up with potentially a VHS copy, a bootleg copy of Akira.
I could well imagine this translating so well to VHS in a way that a lot of other animated films in general, but anime especially, is so striking yet simple in its animation, and I guess the simplicity of it will mean that it translates well to a slightly more low-res medium without, sort of losing too much while still looking gorgeous.
Yeah, it can, because it crunches those details on VHS, right? Where when I saw it on 4K, I was like, would you even see these details? Like, to look at the complexities of the drawings, I was like, is this worth it? Because you were going to play it on VHS in '88 or in the cinema once, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's maximum effort basically was put into this movie. I think 160 frames. That's kind of crazy. Speaking of frames, the movie was so I want to say shot, but it was planned from 8 to 12 to 24 frames. So that means that like which is crazy for an anime, because that means that like for every second, there's parts in this movie where every second there's like 24 drawings, basically, which is kind of
24
crazy.
individual frames.
It's kind of crazy. Absolutely. So there's that. So apparently there was colors that were created for this anime. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so now this is where it starts to sound self-mythologizing to me. No, they weren't.
Red didn't exist before this
There
movie,
was
man.
no green before Akira.
No, shades of red apparently, but whatever. And yeah, I think that's kind of it in terms of like its impact. It's massive. It's massive. But you know what? I was watching it recently. I was like, I get why this is cult, but I think I enjoyed it a lot more this time, because I think I watched a bit of it when I was a kid. I think I enjoyed it more this time with a bit of context to like what it was trying to say, and with reading up about the movie after, because I think the plot is all over the place. In my opinion, I was really looking for threads throughout the thing. I understood that something was happening with Tetsuo, but I thought it was kind of out there towards the ending. It doesn't have a clear ending.
No.
The ending, spoilers, the ending has Tetsuo become God.
Yeah, he creates his own universe.
And he creates his own universe, and you're like, that's a crazy concept, man.
It's very kind of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Sure.
Where it goes.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many films that I was thinking about during this. I was thinking about The Warriors. I was thinking about Time Baby from Gravity Falls. If any Gravity Falls fans out there, there's a couple of shots of some of those espers that kind of look like Time Baby.
Yeah.
But it's clearly had an impact on a lot of stuff that has come after it, and it has been impacted by a lot of stuff that's come before it. It's very intertwined in the canon of pop culture.
And Tetsuo becomes I think it's interesting, the idea that like a kid that was bullied gets superpowers. I thought it was slightly realistic that like, I'm not going to be a superhero. I'm going to mess all of you up. And to be fair, he has like a really bad migraine during the whole thing, but he does like kill a lot of people.
He does.
And then you've got these like weird like wrinkly babies. And if I remember correctly, those kids were experimented on by the government. Akira was one of them, but Akira ascended.
Yeah.
He ascended to like more than that. And
they appear to have left this dimension and gone to create their own.
Somewhat, because I believe it's a result of the experiments that obliterated Tokyo back in the Akira, which is like the Akira event in time, which was that large explosion. I think it was the results of the because they said he was everything under the sun was done to him basically, and it's kind of really gross and it's sad to see all the slices of him, the eyes, and
He's just kept in jars.
yeah, he's kept in jars, and even Tetsuo's like, what the hell is this? And I'm really surprised he didn't break the jars there and then, because we're in like the cat, it's like bricks all over the place, and he's like putting them neatly down. It's very unlike Tetsuo.
Tetsuo likes to be careful about some stuff. He doesn't want to break everything. He just wants to break like bridges and people and satellites.
And I think the movie stands up the most through its visuals. I think the visuals is what makes this movie special.
But that is, as I was saying before, that is exactly what my
understanding of anime
was before coming in.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I have like some of my faves come to mind here, but I don't know if there's any that would be, I have to think about this, that would like wow you. Well, you liked Your Name.
I did like Your Name. I thought Your Name was, because it was such just like a beautiful love story, and sort of that element really resonated with me.
Yeah.
And then kind of the time travel-y elements of it. Spoilers for Your Name. There's time travel elements in Your Name.
Yeah.
That added to it without sort of without distracting too much, and it didn't have this very uncomfortable, aggressively right-leaning, borderline propaganda politics that I see a lot of in Akira, and that I hear so much about famously through Attack on Titan and other spaces, and it didn't have that that clashing tone of the high-minded ideas versus the way in which the story is framed and structured in the way that stuff like Ghost in the Shoulders. But there's a couple of Ghiblis that I've really enjoyed.
Okay, fair enough.
I do enjoy
Have you seen
Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah, Howl's Moving Castle. Princess Mononoke?
Not seen it.
I think you'd like it. It's environmental in nature.
I do love environmental in nature.
I thought you would. So that would be a good one for you, because we wanted, we said you would watch My Life as a Slime, or whatever that movie is. I'm afraid I don't want to put you off anime forever.
Never. No, I want to watch something that I've got no context on. I will look at the poster for My Life as a Slime, and I will tell you what the plot's going to be, and I will be just as accurate as I was with Akira.
There's like these animes which are like isekais, where they all follow the same structure, where it's like someone goes somewhere and becomes a down under kind of underdog, and then rises, right? And My Life as a Slime is one of those.
I mean, there's no problem with genre having tropes and structures. That's something that comfortably exists within every form of cinema or every form of storytelling. So that's not a problem in and of itself, unless the tropes themselves have issues which are worth unpicking.
Also, a thing that grated me with the movie, and it was minor, but like the amount of times towards the end where they yell their names at each other. Did you get that? It's Tetsuo! Kaneda!
Again, from my limited understanding,
that's anime.
That is something that happens. That is something that happens. Hey, have you seen Avatar? Not the
The Last
James Cameron
Airbender.
Airbender?
No. But that's an animation.
Is that different?
Yes, to me. To me, when I say anime, I mean like Japanese anime. Like that's how I see it.
Tell me. Explain. I don't know.
I just did. So anything that's anime that's not animated in Japan for me is animation. It's your Toy Stories, and Toy Stories is like 3D.
But I thought that it was animated in Japan. Is it not?
If it is, then I'm sorry, because again, I haven't seen it. But if it's,
okay.
I thought it was more like a Cartoon Network kind of Batman kind of.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, this is the blind leading.
But you've seen it?
No.
Oh, cool.
This is why
so we're both talking about something we haven't seen.
100%. Cut it. Cut it.
No, I'm not cutting this. Something else also I wanted to mention. 1988, when we released in the US, so Christmas Day 89, you have to also talk about the state of film and animation also in the US at that time, or in the West at that time, because this is such a grenade, Akira, because in the US, I'll talk about the US, at this time, the first episode of The Simpsons is airing.
Wow.
Okay, if you're talking animation, you're talking Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, right? So can you imagine being a kid, you've watched Bugs Bunny, and you've just seen the first episode of The Simpsons, and then your dad takes you to the cinema because he's awesome, and you get to see Akira. You can imagine how that would blow your mind.
100%.
Yeah.
People talk a lot at the moment about like Pixar is officially, it seems, no longer getting credit for how good it looks because everybody just kind of knows, right? You just know, you know what a Pixar film looks
Well,
like.
you know, I watched Hoppers recently, and I think
Yeah.
that's a Disney Pixar. I think that's a Pixar.
I'm not certain. On that.
Okay, okay, well, regardless of who made this, which I definitely should know, the animation on that blew my mind. I was like, this is it. We've reached it. It doesn't get better than this.
Well, so that's kind of what I was going at. Was like, I feel like we hit that maybe a decade ago, and then I've seen that with almost every film. Like Inside Out hit that, and then it's just been constant since then.
Yeah, but Hoppers is fur. It's mostly furry guys.
I see.
And the fur on those little dudes, I thought was like out of this world.
Whereas now, the animation that I find really striking is something like Flow, the Latvian film.
That one I needed.
So different.
I needed exactly. I needed like a good 30 minutes to get into that.
It takes some time.
Yeah, because I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is running at like 2 frames per second.
Yeah, yeah.
The animation is jarring to me, and then when you get used to it, you're like, ah.
And it becomes a different kind of beautiful. And but in a pre all of this time, like you say, if what you were ready for is those first seasons of The Simpsons where it looks
exactly,
really
and then
awful.
you go see Akira and you see that cool bike, and you're like, oh my god.
And the Akira is a beautiful looking film.
It is. It is undeniably, and it's aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
It's really good. Now, the internet really wanted Nolan to do this, so there was a big campaign to get Nolan to do a live action remake of Akira right before. This was before Interstellar. It never got made, and I wonder. So my question to you is this something to pursue, or should we just leave it alone?
If anybody is to make a live action remake of Akira, then the guy who made The Dark Knight Rises, which is all about how amazing the cops are, and if we lost them, then it would be a terrible, terrible, like society would break down immediately. That guy would be able to do it.
Is that your take on the Batman Rises?
Oh God, I bloody hate The Dark Knight Rises. We've locked the cops away. The people are going crazy. Did you know that social revolution will be bad for everyone? It's terrible to give the poor people power.
Okay.
No.
All right. So he'd be the one for it then, yeah.
Oh yeah, I would hate it, but he gets it.
I kind of think this is unadaptable. Yeah, I would think it'd be very difficult. I think you're just setting yourself up for failure at that point.
I would see it very difficult to adapt outside of Japanese
animation.
Yeah, well, maybe conceivably a live action version because also live
that's
action.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. I don't know if we should touch it with live action.
Maybe, but certainly not like a Hollywood remake. I'm not picturing
Ben Affleck as Tetsuo or something.
Oh God, Jesus! but so I guess the closest that we got to that kind of was either Brightburn or Chronicle. But that was being done in such an underplayed way, like a really understated thing for both of them, and something that delves a lot more into the characters, especially in the Chronicle approach, where it's that bullied kid who gets powers and this awkward guy who can't communicate with people, and how would he respond to it? You could do that. I just don't know if you should do it with the hyper stylization of Akira. Some things are good in animation. You don't want a live-action Lion King, no matter how much you think you do. For the record, my hot take on this that is eventually going to get proven right, but we're going to be like a decade away, you also don't want Hamilton on film. For the same reason. It's perfect where it is. It's designed within this medium. You do not want a Hamilton 1, Hamilton 2, like Wicked, where they're all singing on film. That would just be awful. And it's the same thing. It's that it's perfect for the medium that it's in.
What did you think of the body horror stuff at the end?
I mean, it's really unsettling. It's really unsettling.
He becomes a baby.
Yeah, well, but before that, even when he's just flesh is growing and
it's unstoppable.
Technology is sort of invested into his body through his arm. It's really uncomfortable. Made me think of Riki-Oh, if you've seen that infamous scene from Riki-Oh.
No, but I've heard of Riki-Oh.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable. It's borderline. I guess everybody says Cronenbergian when they.
Oh yeah, I guess you. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got that big dome, and everybody gets swallowed by it, and then new universe.
This singularity that gets created, as they.
What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is? We've got the critic score and we've got the audience score. 1988, 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Usually, I'm trying to pick which one's higher, but in this case.
Oh, do you want to try that?
Both are extremely high.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm guessing like 97% apiece because not only is it well received, but I understand why it's well received.
Oh, it's a lot of people's favorite movie.
Yeah, and I guess what it is also like this singular event for creating something on this kind of scale.
Nothing was ever the same after this in terms of like animation. We said 97 for both. So our critics here gave it a 91 with 57 reviews. I wonder what
57?
Yeah, I'm wondering like, are these reviews from 1988? Like, I wonder. And the other one is 90% for people with over 100,000 ratings.
That is interesting to me that it's under where I thought it would be.
Yeah, so no, these are all from like even these 57 Brang Eggers, okay, Eggert, 2022. Yeah, these 57 critics, 91. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a cult classic for a reason. But yeah, it's great. Another scene that really got me, it made me think of Stranger Things immediately, actually, was the whole laboratory when Tetsuo finds himself in there first. Also, there's this huge this animation with the Five Nights at Freddy's kind of like huge teddy bear thing that happens. That
when you
weird.
were saying that the narrative is sometimes unfocused and doesn't hold your hand on what's going on.
Yeah,
that's definitely one of those scenes that is. I appreciate it for going there.
Yeah,
for being as sort of absurd as it is, and for not telling you what's happening in that moment. That it's not, that it seems to be the other kids, trying to control or potentially kill him via these.
Yeah, they see him as danger for sure.
Yeah, they see him as a threat. Which again, I have problems with. But to do it in that way it's so visual and it's so disturbing. And like to make Five Nights at Freddy comparisons, God, this must be what 20 years before Five Nights at Freddy, if not.
Oh my God, yeah, more like 30, 20, no, 20 years about, yeah, sorry, extremely popular. Okay, cool. And there's also this nuclear anxiety, right? I mean, it's released in '88. I mean, Japan makes a lot of great like nuclear anxiety pieces of content, pieces of media. I wonder why. Godzilla, Gojira, that also comes to mind.
Are you aware of the... God, I'll get the name of it wrong now. Let me look up the name of it before I say this.
Do you have internet?
I have internet, I hope. I think it's Lucky Tuna.
Lucky Tuna?
Well, yeah, hang on.
It was also the foundation of what we call like cyberpunk, I think. Like this cyberpunk barely existed before this, and it really cemented that look and feel of like the crowded cities and the pipes and everything. Like that was. And
you mentioned Blade Runner earlier.
Yeah.
I think so. Visually, there's a lot of comparisons with Blade Runner.
I wonder if Ridley Scott saw this and was like, let me make a story that happens on the other side of the city. Right. That's how it feels to me.
But it's the actual like the competency of the government within it and the sort of
cars.
No, it's not that far in advance. This I was picturing 2250. This is only...
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, we've passed
the bleak times of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Found it.
Just make sure I've got the right. Lucky Dragon Atomic Tuna. That's fine. Have you heard?
So go on.
Have you heard of the Lucky Dragon Atomic Tuna incident?
No.
Everybody, when they think of Japan and nuclear weapons, is going to think of Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
In the 60s, the Americans conducted a nuclear test offshore of Japan without telling the Japanese. And some tuna fishermen were fishing in that area, and hey, it's snowing, isn't that crazy? Let's pick a bunch of fish and let's take them all to shore.
No.
And atomic tuna got released into the Japanese populace, and the fear that it created of, we can't eat fish, it's irradiated, and it was of course so recent to the bombs, destroyed the fishing industry briefly, where people weren't going to eat tuna under any circumstances because they had.
And that's massive in Japan, obviously.
Yeah, huge. And so, and for some reason, it doesn't get talked about that much.
What year is this on?
I want to say like 66 or something. I'm not certain on the exact year.
Right.
But so like
they've had their fair share of nuclear stuff. Let me tell you.
You can see why it's a fixation. And it's interesting for this to come out in '88. Kind of almost at the end of that sort of nuclear panic.
Well, I wonder what yeah, you're right. And I wonder when he started also writing Akira.
I'm guessing if he started in the mid-'80s, then it was still riding a lot more high.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah. Absolutely. What movie would you recommend to someone who's watched this?
So one of the very few anime that I have seen...
doesn't have to be anime.
I know it doesn't, but one of the few that I have is called Redline.
Oh, that's the one I haven't seen. Is it not? No, it's not Wachowski. No, but anyway, go for it.
It is basically what I thought this was going to be, in that it is a high-stakes racing film with cars instead of motorbikes, in which there are some crazy tech being involved in the cars and some other things that I won't mention for those who want to go watch Redline because it gets pretty nutty. I find that to be a lot of fun in what I thought Akira was going to be.
Nutty animation.
So if you want to go watch nutty animation, I would say Redline is the way to go. If you want to watch sort of a more nuclear-inflected Japanese film, of course, the original Godzilla is something that has to be recommended at all times because it just doesn't get watched as much as it should. People watch so many of the Godzilla sequels and remakes and reimaginings, but the original is definitely worth spending time going back to.
I'll recommend Shin Godzilla, which is one of these remakes he's talking about.
Fantastic point, though.
Yeah, Shin Godzilla, I really like it. I mean, for me, it's just because it's cool as hell and weird. The first iterations of Shin Godzilla are like slithery, like little worm thing. Freaked out a few people I know.
And it touches on government incompetence.
Absolutely, yeah. Where they're in that control room, just looking at this thing destroying their city. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So I'll say that one. I'll say Mars Express. I'll always, whenever animation comes up, I'll always bring up Mars Express because it's a French animation, so it's a bit different. But it is in the anime style, and yeah, it's great. It's about detectives in the future, kind of figuring out what's going on in a crime. It's pretty good. It's so good we're screening it hopefully this summer, so looking forward to that. And of course, I'll also recommend Perfect Blue, which is what Black Swan is based on. Paprika, which is what Christopher Nolan's time-traveling movie is.
Tenet?
No, the other one. They twirl a thing at the end and it's opened. And
Inception?
Inception. So Inception is based on a movie called Paprika.
I did not know that.
There you go. And finally, Blade Runner, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner is pretty good. But also, I think I prefer the new one because I'm a Denis Villeneuve stan.
One of these days, we're going to talk about Blade Runner 2049.
No, I want to still like it at the end of my existence. Okay, any closing thoughts for you? Shelf-worthy? I definitely think it's shelf-worthy. They make so many cool versions of this.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
If you see somebody's DVD collection,
Blu-ray.
and they have I apologize, a Blu-ray.
I don't hang out with anybody. It's a DVD.
I don't even have a Blu-ray player. But okay, let's say you hang out with somebody whose physical media
Yes, I'm joking, yeah.
includes a prominent Akira selection. Is that one of these films that is a little bit more of a statement film to include on your rack than necessarily a film that you'll go back and rewatch? I
don't believe that someone who would buy multiple collector's editions of Akira has anything necessarily like political on their mind. I think it's more like it's like if you had a 2001 for me, it's on your, you know what I mean? It's more like this is a piece of cinema. I love it so much because it like defined cinema and animation forever. If you had something like me, like a Berserk DVD collection, Blu-ray collection, and like the 3 movies, which I love, I'd be a bit more worried because there's some like weird scenes in that movie. So it really depends. But an anime collection,
it's got to be in that.
I'd be worried. Because you know how expensive anime Blu-rays are? They're the most expensive thing in a Blu-ray shop.
Are they really?
Yeah. So like Joe from FOP was telling me. FOP is a shop, you know what FOP is, where there's all these Blu-rays, and he says like, oh, we get like all our 4Ks get stolen all the time, but the real stuff that's worth a lot more is the animes. The anime, because animes are seasoned, and I guess it's the data thing, there's much more on a CD, and so animes are like 30 pounds, 40 pounds.
Really?
Not movies, but like the seasons, which is mostly what anime physical media is series. So yeah, I would, any series, like if it's One Piece and Naruto, I think we're good. Jujutsu Kaisen I think is fine. That's really good. Chainsaw Man even, I think that's dubious. I have the Blu-rays, but yeah. But anything else that's like recent and a bit borderline, I'd be a bit worried. Lots of judgment here on anime fans.
Judgment from me. This is just a genre that I'm uninformed on. Inform me. Tell me what I should be watching. What am I missing?
Oh, I think anime is like phenomenal in terms of everything that you can't do with a camera, anime will do. That's a big thing.
Visually, that's true.
Visually, that's true, and the plot is something else entirely. But I've watched anime movies that have like, you know, I think changed the chemistry of my brain for good and ill, for sure. Monster is one that comes up quite often, which is more of a political drama, which is good. Yeah, I'm gonna have a think about this. I can't recommend like everything I watch, but yeah, it really depends. It really depends. But as I said, I grate a lot against stuff that is like, oh, watch the first season, it becomes good. Season 2, I'm like, I'm going to watch 35 episodes. Like, what do you mean?
Sure.
Or don't worry about this kid who's like super sexualized. It's just a side character. Like, okay. That becomes a bit, but that is also because it's made in Japan and there's like different cultural norms over there. But Akira, it's fucking cool. I really like Akira. I'd like to put up a screening of Akira. There was actually a screening of Memories. So this director hasn't done that many other things. He's done like maybe 6 other movies, or he's been part of anthologies, more precisely. And one of them is Memories, which is 3 short stories in one movie. The movie called Memories, and it's an anthology, I guess. It's 3 or 4, I think, and that's really good. It was screened at the Savoy, I want to say last year, or maybe the year before.
Sounds good. I would try. I'm always interested in anthology movies.
It's shorts, basically. Yeah, it's shorts. And when it comes to future, cyberpunk shorts, I think really good. Worth revisiting. Would you watch this again?
Would I watch it again?
Your friends are like, I love Akira, or I've never seen Akira, can we watch it? Are you going to be like, well, I just watched it, so can we watch something else?
Yeah, it wouldn't be something that I'd go back to. I'm not sure. But the length of it, like, it's
2 hours and 4,
it's not an especially long film or anything,
Yeah.
but for the story that's being told, it feels quite long to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
And ultimately, I think the reason that I wouldn't watch Akira is because I'm very aware of my poor education in the world of anime. And so if I'm going to watch anime, I'm going to watch a new one.
Well, I think the less educated you are, the harder it is. Like, the better it is. The best things about anime for me is like the fight scenes, man. Like, honestly, like it's not necessarily the world-ending political stuff. It's really like, have you seen this? Berserk is so cool to me because it is about a guy with a sword that is his size and nobody can wield it. It's so heavy. He has basically a piece of steel the size of like it's 2 meters high, and that's what I love about him.
I mean, I'll check it out.
And maybe you shouldn't. That's kind of Akira.
That's Akira.
That's Akira. Thank you so much, Mark, for being here and talking to us about Akira and Chicken Run. And thank you also for listening. Please subscribe and all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one.
Authoritarian states are formed against the oppressed.
I get to cut this.